On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. Big question that a lot of us obviously want to ask is there a way to argue with the left when they're hypocrites? Simple answer is no. Don't need to watch the rest of the video. Thank you so much. But I do actually have some suggestions on one, how we can choose the best people to have discussions with. And I have a lot of fun pointing out many of the hypocrisies that exist. And because of these hypocrisies, many people in the middle and center left and even on the left that are starting to wake up and starting to see this. Trust me, this hypocrisy is blatant. And so, as these things happen, we need to learn to identify these people. It reminds me of in the Matrix, right? The Nebuchadnezzar and all that stuff, right? Where they were looking for people that were awakened, such as Neo. They were looking for people that were already aware of the fact that they were part of the Matrix. They didn't waste time trying to wake people up that were among the sleeping masses. No. They worried about the ones that were actually awakening. And wasting your time trying to argue with somebody that essentially is a hypocrite, well, it proves to be rather difficult. Now, one thing that's kind of funny that I've started to see about a lot of people on the left, not everybody, and I certainly don't think this is I'm not trying to criticize people's character, but I am pointing out how Hippocratic they are. I am pointing out how they change the rules in the mid-sentence. What's good for you is not good for me. There's a lot of evidence of that. And what I have found with people on the left is they generally don't stand for anything. In fact, they just generally stand against Trump or anything that happens to be Trump or anything that Trump's trying to push or anything that's on the right. A famous person was recently just talking about how this two-party system, and I'm not saying we get rid of it, but we're pointing out a problem, is set up to be divisive in its very nature. The very nature of the two-party system creates a division. You're either on the left or you're on the right. There's no in between. You are on one side or the other. And when you try to get in the middle, they get mad at you and say people get hit by cars in the middle. You got to choose a side, choose a lane. Really? Because your lanes suck. So one of the problems that we have right now is we're pitted against each other, but the other side is one side doesn't really stand for anything, and the other side does. And I believe it was Alexander Hamilton that said it best. Those who stand for nothing fall for anything. And I think that's one of the problems that we have right now with the left. And I know they're saying that about us. Totally get it. I'll tell you what, I spend a lot of time looking in the mirror. I spend a lot of time questioning, is this okay? And when I look at the fact that I'm open to freedom, I'm not trying to even censor people on the left, even though I don't agree with them. I don't want to censor them. I'm not trying to silence them. When it comes to situations where maybe a woman has been taken advantage of in the workplace, I want to hear the facts. I want to get the facts in front. I don't care if the person being accused is Democrat or Republican. I want to hear what the lady has to say. I want to get this in front of people that can assess who is telling the truth. And if the man's responsible and at fault, yes, he should be very much in trouble. And if the woman's making an accusation that's not true, that should be called out, and that should not be okay either, because you can ruin an individual's life and reputation by making up accusations. So again, that's standing against an individual rather than standing for freedom of speech, for the fact that women should be heard, listened to, and a lot of horrible things have happened in the workplace, especially back in the day. I hope we're making progress, but again, everything's a movement forward. But when you don't stand for anything at all, or when you stand for nothing, well then pretty much anything that anybody puts in front of you, you'll fall for. You'll go for it. Oh yeah, no, it's definitely Trump's trying to take us all down because he's a racist. Well, is he a racist? Have you listened to any of his speeches? Well, I've heard snippets. He said this one time. He said black person in a. That's all I heard. I didn't hear anything around it. Might have been talking about how black people's unemployment's gone down, or black people's wages are going up, or any number of positive things. Could have been, but no. They snippet it out, small little portion. He's a horrible man. Again, part of the many myriad of problems we have with the way the hypocrites work. One thing that's kind of funny is they are frequently telling others what they can do, right? You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to defund police department. You need to open up state. You need to take these statues down. You need to do this. You need reparation. The second we tell them, hey, whoa, there's a curfew tonight because you guys are burning down the town. You need to get out of the streets. You can't tell me what to do. Wait. You just got done handing me a litany of things I need to do. You guys are causing damage until that can stop and you can peaceably protest. Yeah, you're not allowed to be out after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever the heck. No, you can't do that. All right, there you go. Double standards. Goalpost was here. They go, oh, you're doing that. Well, you're going to play. Okay, screw it. Pick up the goalpost, move it over here. You're still short. You didn't make it. Ha ha. They changed the rules. They stand for nothing. Now, of course, what I'm referring to is there's large crowds of people. Now, you look in here, a lot of these people seem to have masks on, but they are certainly extremely close in proximity. And there's this huge discussion around, it's Tulsa, Oklahoma, the COVID virus is going to kill us all because Trump's having a rally. Really? Rally. Crowds, fire, people looting, crowds, not all masks, more fire, more crowds. But that's okay. That's okay. Just don't have a Trump rally. Not okay. It's kind of interesting how this all kind of comes out as well, but there's a movement for a group called All Black Lives Matter, and I think that's an awesome movement. Candace Owens has talked about that, and she's gotten a lot of flack for coming out and saying some of the great things she's said. And that being said, I am not opposed to anybody standing for anything. Again, this young lady here, I'm not sure who this lady is, but she's one of the co-founders of the BLM movement. And again, it doesn't bother me, personally, it doesn't bother me that she's a Marxist. What does bother me is that most people that are following this movement blindly don't realize that they're heading down a trap. Because, well, they don't stand for necessarily anything, so they'll fall for anything as well, right? They stand for nothing, they fall for anything. So we've got people that are taking advantage of the movement, have intentionally organized this movement for that reason. I'm going to listen to this little 36-second thing here. And again, I have no qualms about what this young lady's done with her life. That's great. Stand up for what you believe. And if you're kind of a Marxist and all that stuff, all right, cool. Like, own it, wear it, be proud. And she does. And I'll be honest, I respect this. I respect this a lot. And we have the freedoms to be this. Do I agree with her? No. But here's somebody that you can actually have a discussion with. Here's somebody that stands for something. And people that stand for something, even on the left, I give a lot more points for than those who stand for nothing and will fall for anything.
I also think that it might, I think of a lot of things. The first thing I think is that we actually do have an ideological frame. Myself and Alicia in particular are trained organizers. We are trained Marxists. We are super versed on sort of ideological theories. And I think that what we really try to do is build a movement that could be utilized by many, many Black folk.
So again, a movement that can be utilized by many, many Black folk. And that's a way to say that, a lot of people that stand for nothing will definitely kind of get on board with this because they really don't know any better. Again, do we want to argue with those people? No, it's not worth it. They're going to pick up the goalposts and move them as necessary. But do we want to be mindful of those, that stand for something? Good for that. You at least know what you're talking to, and you can have a discussion with this young lady about where she stands on things versus where I stand on things, and maybe figure out a place in the middle. Again, she stands for something. And when you stand for something, we can talk. That's awesome. This is a free world for that reason. But a lot of people on the left stand for nothing, are absolute hypocrites. So for those of you on the left, here's an example of how to stand for something as opposed to maybe what you're currently doing. And when I speak of things like that, a lot of people on the left have frequently talked about how rich people are the problem. They get out and they get mad at all the wealthy people. And wealthy people typically are ascribed as the Republican Party. But that's not true. Politicians in general are pretty darn wealthy. Now, just a list. It's Wikipedia, so let's not get too crazy. Kelly Loeffler, whatever, recently became a senator, got brought in by someone who left the seat vacant, yada, yada, yada. Used to own a company, owns a professional basketball team, I believe. Like, she's pretty loaded already. I think coming into Congress, she was loaded. I think she started 2019 at the beginning of the year, ish, roughly. So, all right, whatever. But she's worth $500 million. Also, she was one of the 4 that got busted for dumping their stocks before the coronavirus outbreak. So she'd barely been in office for a year. And she's one of the 4 people that dumped a bunch of stocks, Carrie Loeffler. But yeah, whatever. That's okay. One thing I want to say, and this is one of the big differences between the left and the right, she's a Republican. In fact, three, let's make the right numbers. 3 of the 4 were Republicans. I got a problem with that. I don't care that they're Republicans. I want the deep state out. And if that deep state happens to be Republican, McCain, sorry, he's passed away, unfortunately, but a great example. If they're deep state, then I want them the frick out. I want them up. Again, not a hypocrite. I stand for something. I actually stand for something. And so, not okay. But Nancy Pelosi's worth $120 million and probably more. Again, these numbers seem a little low to me because it's Wikipedia, but whatever. Nancy Pelosi, worth a lot of money. Number 5 on the list is a Democrat at $90 million. 7 and 8, 11, 12, 13. Number 15, number 18. Yeah, a lot of Republicans and a lot of Democrats. So again, and Feinstein comes down here. She was one of the other people that got busted. Where is she? There she is, number 8. Oh gosh, she's like 1 billion years old. She's been in office for like 60 years. That's insanity to me. But anywho, I'm sure she's got the best interests and not personal interests at heart, because no hypocrite ever does that. No, but I'll move the goalposts as necessary. So yeah, Burr, other senators dump stock before coronavirus crash. Yeah, 3 Republicans, 1 Democrat. Yeah, I'm pointing it out. This is jacked up, and I want to see these guys go down. So this is rad. Yeah, they're going to get busted. This is very, very cool. So yeah, we hate people that are rich, but a whole bunch of people on your side are rich. Well, wait. As a hypocrite, I would say, well, that's okay because they use their money in other ways, or they got their money from some, I don't know, or it doesn't matter. Again, their arguments generally are horrible. So again, we got, peaceful protest, the lockdown, and it's bad to protest for a riot, but it's a good cause. That's okay, right? But it's not okay if it's a bad cause, so I get that. Impeach the president for foreign interference, yet foreign companies and governments and agencies and all this can close down prominent websites on the right. They can silence voices from the right. They can even ban tweets. Why is that okay? They talked about all this foreign interference in the presidential election because some Russian companies bought some Facebook ads. All right, whatever. Okay, some $16,000 in Facebook's ads somehow was able to turn around the entire presidential election. First off, I've got 16 grand. I should probably invest in some easy advertising because obviously it's extremely capable if only that small amount of money was able to sway an entire election. But okay, well, step back a little bit from that. But what's very interesting, and there's an incredible little bit of 2 to 3 minutes here that's excellent with Tucker Carlson and the co-founder Sean Davis responding to this deplatforming or this defunding that occurred on their website. So he's the Federalist, if you haven't heard about this, and also Zero Hedge, which is a site I actually really like. I love Zero Hedge. They got defunded because of an organization in England that was tied with NBC. So NBC affiliate or the NBC company in England was able to put this ban to Google saying, we don't like what these people are doing and we think they should be banned. And what did Google do? They banned them because of a company in another country. That sure sounds like foreign interference, doesn't it? Actually able to take the opposing voice. The Federalist is a huge site, and Zero Hedge is pretty big too, and I think, reasonably fair. I think they tend to be a little right-center, but they're still closer to the center than they are way off to the right. I think the Federalist is a little bit further off to the right, whatever. But it's an amazing source of right-leaning information, and then we've got plenty of articles on the left. So for the left to be able to shut down an opposing voice or censor an opposing voice, when if you tried to censor them, they'd freak out, right? Again, move the goalposts. It's okay that I censor you because I'm righteous, because I know what's best for us. You don't. So you should trust me. You should listen to me. I'm going to set you straight. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a little gander here at about the first 3 minutes, 2.5, 3 minutes. I hope you give it to me because it's actually worth it. They go into like 3 little sections, and for me, it was really hard to find the line in the sand to even stop that point. But this is a very good piece of work that Tucker has done here. Let's check it out.
Or they sell us out. Time is up. Seriously, it is too much. The stakes are too high. We need better leadership. We need someone to protect us. Nobody is. Sean Davis knows that feeling well. He co-founded the Federalist. We're happy to have him on tonight. Sean, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight. Tell us the obvious thing. Did you know this was coming?
No, we didn't, and it's actually really interesting how this came about. We never got any formal notice from Google. We never got any notice from their ad team. We learned about this from NBC News, from the reporter, Ms. Fraser, who emailed a general info account at the Federalist. She didn't email me or my partners or my founders saying, hey, we heard that Google demonetized you. What do you think about that? And it's at that point where we started reaching out to connections that we have at Google and found out that it turns out, yeah, something was going on there, but it wasn't what NBC or Ms. Fraser had said. In fact, it looks like NBC, the network that coddled Harvey Weinstein and Matt Lauer, by the way, had partnered with a foreign left-wing group in Europe to go after us and to use Google to go after us. And as of now, since we have temporarily removed our comment sections, I can assure you they will be back. We are back in Google's good graces. But this is a pretty terrifying example of the power that you have between the unholy union of corrupt media and monopolistic tech oligarchs.
Well, that's it right there. And I think all of us have gotten over our shock at watching so-called journalists promote censorship, which they relentlessly do. The Daily Beast, CNN, NBC, all have pushed censorship and gotten it. But you got to kind of wonder, are laws being broken here? We have an election looming on the horizon. We have news companies trying to put their competitors out of business with the help of a monopoly that only exists because it has a special carve-out from the United States Congress. Where is the Congress? Where is the Justice Department? Why isn't anyone stepping in to stop this now?
Well, that's a great question, and we wondered the same thing. We were subjected to all these demands in 2016 and after to get rid of foreign interference in our elections, and here we have a foreign unit at NBC that, with the Orwellian name, the NBC News Verification Unit. The irony there is enough to make you laugh. Seeking, with another left-wing foreign group, to deplatform an American media organization, one that's supposed to be defended and made sacrosanct under the First Amendment, and trying to get us deplatformed by going to their left-wing friends at Google. So I think there are a lot of questions that need to be answered, especially by those involved at CNN, who put forward a completely false and maliciously so article attacking us, slurring us, and slamming us and defaming us with things that had no basis in reality whatsoever. And if this were a just world, there would be accountability for that. There would be accountability for fake journalists who go around trying to destroy their competition for the crime of criticizing them.
And that's exactly what had happened in this case. They went after their competition and tried to shut them down. Not okay. And somehow the hypocrite left seems to think that's acceptable. I kind of beg to differ. So another thing that's really interesting how this whole thing played out. Again, conservative ad ban pressure stems from a UK government-backed far-left organization. It's not cool, but yeah, Google bans the website. Comes after the company was notified of research conducted by the Center for Countering Digital Hate, a British nonprofit that combats online hate and misinformation. They found that 10 US-based websites have published what they say are racist articles about the protests and projected that the websites would make millions of dollars through Google ads. Obviously got to shut that down because, again, they determined it was racist. So a group on the left can decide arbitrarily they don't like something the right is saying, make a complaint, and that has to go away. Yet there's plenty of Twitter examples of people posting pretty horrific things, pretty hate speech oriented things, definitely anti-white, which, all right, whatever, maybe it's deserving, maybe it's not, but again, that's okay. But the second anything's brought into question as to whether something's all right, or whether this movement's okay, or whether there's components of it that don't quite make sense, let's leave that out. Facebook fact checker leads stories lies about donations, admits foreign influence, claims they know where female reporters live. Yeah, this guy is editor-in-chief site. He's a career CNN journalist, yada, yada. They have found all sorts of issues with this company and this guy that's supposedly been trying to fact check everybody else. Seems to have some bad facts against him. So again, who's checking the fact checkers? That's a big question that's come with a lot of people. And so it's kind of funny how that all plays out. Another huge hypocrite thing or hypocrisy that happens from the left that I think is amazing is the idea that if there's a sexual harassment charge brought against somebody on the right, that woman should for sure be listened to no matter what. And in fact, I guarantee you she's right. No matter what she says, I guarantee you she's right. Now, on the converse, if by chance a person that claims someone on the left sexually harassed them, well, there's no way that's possible. And in fact, that individual, whoever she is obviously a Republican troll, obviously a deplorable, obviously not a good human being. Wait, what? I thought me too. I thought no matter what, both sides. Wait, huh? I'm so confused. So yeah, as tragedy declines into farce, so believe all women becomes believe all women unless they're accusing a Democrat. Yeah. And Christy Blasey Ford accused Brett Kavanaugh of sexually assaulting her when they were both teenagers. The Democratic supporting majority of the American media pronounced Kavanaugh unfit to be a Supreme Court justice before any evidence was ever seen or heard, before they ever got into the fact that Christine Blasey Ford couldn't actually specify anything, couldn't pin one place where they were there together at the same time. But, yeah, you know, hey, believe all women. That's okay, sure. But only now, nearly after a year, after Reid, a former staffer, first accused Biden of sexually assaulting her in his office of Capitol Building in 1993. She was pro-Democrat, by the way. So, her allegations pending a polygraph test and yada, yada, yada. They've pretty much labeled her to be a giant liar. Huh, that's kind of weird. Another hypocrisy of the liberal left that we enjoy so much. Of course, we've got this whole thing with the money, which is kind of where this starts. But this little section that starts here. Their bankrupt political ideology demands division. Their theme is always us versus them. Unity of purpose, culture, nationhood, and citizenship undermine the socialist dogma that permeates their respective interpretations of liberal political ideology. Their first cause is always tolerance. Tolerance of any who agree with them, that is. Because they are elitists, after all, Plato's model. They believe they know better than anyone else. Plato's ideal separated the elite, the guardians of society, from the dross below them. That is infused in the hearts and minds of the liberal left. That there is truly a separation between you and us. There's a big difference. So, tolerance, of course, only if you agree. Anyone who disagrees by chance are so undermining the left's agenda as to be intolerable or, to quote Hillary Clinton, deplorables. People on the left are tolerant of only those in agreement with their positions. Their opponents deserve to be persecuted and ostracized, and, if possible, hunt down where they work and get them fired from where they work. Thus, the justification for enforcing their beliefs through whatever means necessary is born. Anything, it's okay, because we're right, you're wrong. I can do whatever is necessary. You can have a problem with that. There can be laws against it. It doesn't matter, because I'm on the side of right. This arrogance, this hypocrisy. Again, if I tried to apply the same logic to them, I'm right. I'm going to tell you what you should do. You're not right. I'm right. You have to do what I say. Huh? Who decided and made you the moral equivalent to God? Not I. Certainly none of us voted for you. But somehow you feel like you can do that. So there's a lot of people that are getting called out on this. Rep. Maxine Waters calls for verbal or mob attacks on the conservatives. That was back early days, right? Not long ago. And to the left, this justifies Reps Joaquin Castro's doxing of Trump's donors in order to publicly shame them. Again, that's okay. But if I turned it around, if I did the other thing, well, that's not okay. That's not okay. So the world's spinning into a weird place right now. What I want to remind everybody is we need to be on the lookout of the people that are awake. Be on the lookout on those that are awakening. Be on the lookout for the neos in the world that are wakening up. And send them your white rabbit. For those who have actually seen it, it's a little tattoo. The guy says, follow the white rabbit. Just kind of the way the story leads. Great movie. If you haven't seen The Matrix, seriously, it's a great movie. I hope you have. That being said, the left is full of atrocious hypocrites. Don't get in an argument with them. Don't waste your time. Don't throw rocks at them. It's not going to work. No matter what, even when you pin them with your logic, they're going to move the goalposts and make your logic obsolete. So what you do is you look for people that have, in fact, decided what they do stand for and have discussions with them. Because people that stand for something actually have a bit of reason behind why. And when someone's got some reason and some logic, you can actually have a discussion. But when someone has no logic, no reason, no rules, no boundaries, and you're wrong no matter what, neener, 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 liar, liar, pants on fire, and that's all you get, I'm rubber, you're glue, well, man, you make this discussion difficult. It's your fault. Your fault we can't have a discussion. It's like, really? Okay. But just to add a little bit of hope, a little bit of hopefully a smile to your face. Got a lot of protesters that are down in Tulsa right now before the Trump rally. These people spending the night last night. This is some new video of an individual trying to protest, trying to make a scene. Well, it's kind of funny how it played out. Let's check it out.
Our rights are being stripped away. Hold on a second.
Gotta admit, that's just freaking funny as hell. I love it. I absolutely love it. And for those of you that maybe you're getting a little tired of Twitter, there's been some talks and discussions about getting people over here to Parler. I haven't actually logged in and created an account. I opened up a little thing, and I was going to show everyone what the Parler website looked like, but then I felt like I was just going to be like, doing advertising for these guys. But it's supposedly a social media group that's against censorship, and they essentially, as they claim, don't allow violence, right? But they use the FCC laws and the Supreme Court laws to govern what is okay to publish on their site. So again, violence is probably not okay. Calling people out, doxing people. A lot of the things that I think most of us agree are bad choices, those aren't going to be okay there either. But the censorship of one opinion over another opinion, not going to happen. Now, what's going to be kind of funny about this is going to drive people on the left insane. It's going to bother them enormously that people are leaving a platform where they can control them and going to a platform where they can't. So what are they going to do? They're going to attack this platform. But I don't think they're going to be able to. And I guarantee you this platform is well aware of the fact that this is coming. They'll probably start their own ad stuff. I don't know, like you get like BitChute and stuff that doesn't really do advertising well, or I don't know. Some of these alternatives aren't quite what they should be, but if stuff hits the fan, there are great places where infrastructure is already set up and could be expanded and would easily take over if the need arises. So again, we've got options. There's not a monopoly. They want us to believe that Twitter has the monopoly. They want us to believe that YouTube has the monopoly. They want us to believe that Google has the monopoly. They only do so long as we all continue to use them. And other companies have done a really good job. I mean, for example, Chrome used to be the browser of browsers back in the day until they became heavily bloated, until they became who they are now. And so now you've got things like Brave browser, which is really good. And that's what I use for these shows because it definitely has a great ad blocker. Again, not plugging it. Brave is a common sponsor for a lot of YouTubers, but I use it. It's a good app, and I really recommend it on your phone. On your phone, it's, in my opinion, is probably the best browser to use on your cell device because it completely blocks stuff, unlike Google Chrome. There's no way to get ad blocker to work properly on my phone, but it does with Brave. So again, there are alternatives, and that's just a free plug. Sorry, literally not getting any money for that. It's kind of the things that we need to be aware of. Look for the people that are open. Look for the people that stand for something. Have discussions. Be good. Be true. Be understanding and be respectful. But understand that things are opening up. This rally's happening tonight, this Saturday morning right now. Rally is happening tonight. This is bothering people. Options such as Parler are coming out. This is bothering people. Hypocrisy of the blatant lies that are being told on the left. People are starting to see this and they're not liking it. People are waking up. The election's still a few months off. This is going to build and build and build. More events are coming. All assets are deployed. Everything's out there. We need to be good to one another. We need to try our best to see the bigger picture. See what's happening. Try not to emotionally respond, but try to handle this with some logic, with a little bit of understanding, with a little bit of critical thinking, and you'll actually start to see through the lies. They're not that good of lies, really. And they're pretty easy to see through if you just ask a couple questions. Just a couple. You don't have to get crazy. But look into it. Does this make sense? Is this fair for both sides? Can you look in the mirror and say, if someone was saying this to me, would I be okay with that? If that passes the smell test, all right, let's have a discussion. And if not, well, you're a hypocrite, and I don't want to talk to you about it. We can talk about all sorts of things, but I'm not going to try to work out an understanding with you. You're irrational. You're crazy. Why would I bother? Doesn't make any sense. Someone's trying to use evidence, facts, actual statistics, stuff like that, and then they're trying to make a point. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's acceptable. Like, even if I don't agree with the point, that's acceptable. Okay? Now maybe I can question the data, but they're using it. They stand for something. Versus, you're wrong, Trump blames everyone, rainbows are bad because Trump saw one and pointed at it and said, oh, and now I hate rainbows. Like, you've got an issue. You've got an issue if you don't like rainbows. First off, it tastes like Skittles. Come on, can't hate that. All right, anyway, I hope everyone agrees and believes and loves and works towards making a better world, but we'll see how it all plays out. Trying to make a difference myself. If you like what I'm doing, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the bell notification to be notified of any new videos that come out. Like and share are probably the two biggest things you can do to help any YouTuber out there. Certainly if you want to help me, I'd appreciate that. And if for some reason you want to donate to my cause, which I appreciate, I don't like asking, there is a PayPal link below. Feel free. I appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate all the donations. It helps with the work. It helps with the equipment. It helps deal with the fact that you can't get monetized, really. Again, it's just the way the game is played these days. I do have another job. I pay the bills with that, so don't feel like I'm in a bad place. But certainly, if you want to help support the cause, it's always very appreciated. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.